Hello and welcome to Three Questions with. Got my friend Paul with us from ProSource Signs. Good morning, Paul. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Kevin. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, my friend. So, Paul, we were laughing a little bit before the show because I am one of the least creative people in the world. I know how important signs are, but if you said to me, hey, you need to make one for your business, I'd kind of throw my hands up. I don't even know where to start. So, can you help people kind of decide on what they want their sign to look like if they're like me and just not very creative?
Yeah, so we would ask a few questions. First of all, what sort of look are you trying to get from your sign? Usually be based on a logo or something like that. But then we need to find out what type of sign you're looking for. Do you just want a flat panel sign with a logo printed on? Do you want something that's 3D with letters or logo parts that stand out, that we can mount on the wall? Do you want an illuminated sign? So these are all questions we would ask. And we have to bear in mind, of course, permitting, local regulations, determine what sort of sign and how big a sign you can have in many cases. So we do a bit of research into the local codes, and we can give advice on how big the sign can be, what type of sign you can have. There's all different rules that you have to be aware of, and each town is different.
I really like that because you always see those stories about people forgetting that. You're like, I didn't know there was even a regulation. Something as simple as an A-frame out in front of their business. I was in a town where they didn't allow A-frames and they would just come in holding your A-frame and fine you, saying you
Right.
have this. And I get it. There's a place that I go to, and a lot of businesses have A-frames, and it's tough to get out of the parking lot because you can't see past the things. It's like, can you put it so it's not like blocking me out? So I'm not like, crossing myself when I hit the gas to try to get out from the parking lot. But
Right.
it's simple things like that. If you're not thinking about it, you don't even know there's regulations. So that's why it's important to make sure you're working with someone who knows each town's regulations, correct?
Right. Yes. A-frames are, they're temporary signs. Things like you see people with flags posted in the outside of their business. Those are temporary signs. Even people sometimes put a trailer or a van in the parking lot outside their business. And in some towns, that's not allowed. You can't leave something permanently parked that's basically a billboard. So most towns have rules for temporary signs, and sometimes that you can have them displayed for 30 days. Sometimes you're not allowed to have them. It all depends where you are and what the regulations say.
But also you have to know what the requirements of the building you're in are. Like maybe you have a sign you're putting in the hallway outside of your business and they want them all to look alike. Something like that's important too, right?
Right. So if you're in a plaza or a even a building with lots of businesses in, you're right. The landlord often has their own sign regulations which you have to adhere to, and you have to get the landlord to sign off on it, on the design, the size, and everything before you can put a sign up. But whatever the landlord says, that's overruled by the town's ordinances. So if the town says something different to the landlord, it's the town ordinance which is the one that wins.
So Paul, I have to admit, I love light up signs. I don't know, something about driving at night and seeing the name of your business and lights. Just I always enjoyed those. Can you help people with light up signs or whatever they're officially called?
Yeah, light up signs or illuminated signs. You have to be careful with permitting again, because sometimes in historic districts in towns, for example, they don't allow light up signs. Signs like neon signs. Not very many people do neon anymore because it pollutes the atmosphere and stuff like that with the gas. But everybody uses LEDs to light signs these days. So boxes and cabinets that you see on pylons, they used to be lit by fluorescent tubes. Now, when we put new sign faces on, we always upgrade them to LED. Last longer, more cost effective, and they're brighter.
Well, you just hit on one thing that I can't let slide. Historical districts. I work for a company. The building was in a historical district.
Right.
You have to really, really understand the requirements. We wanted to put up a new sign, and like you said, it was a box sign that lit up, and they're like, it doesn't fit the historical requirements. You can only do this type of sign. Luckily, we asked before we did it because we almost didn't. And you would have had, there's Paul putting up the sign, and the historical guy knocking on your ladder saying, take that down.
Right,
You have
right.
to understand the historical requirements, and that can be really complicated and expensive.
Yeah, and it's always important to get the all your information about permitting and do the permitting before you actually order the sign. In fact, we won't put a sign into production until we actually have a permit in hand, because we don't want to be making a sign and then the town says it's got to be 2 foot shorter and we have to start again and throw away what we did.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work for you or for your client, obviously. So,
Right.
Paul, if people have questions about signage, what's the best way for them to reach out to you to learn more, my friend?
They can call me directly on my cell phone. I can give you my cell phone number.
Please. Yep.
603 716 7941 is my cell phone. Or my email address that'll come directly to me is my first name, Paul, at, and the company name, ProSourceSigns.com.
Awesome. Paul, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call into the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Kevin.